Roundtable number 2, and after this one, we have a break, of course. We're a little bit late, but we're going to keep the break for the networking, obviously. So I'm going to be joined on the stage by Balazs Deme, who's the CEO of at Herdius, Paul Bougnoux, associate founder at Largillière Psion Finance, and we have Guillaume Burkel, CMO at Archos. Finally, Marten Nelson, co-founder and CMO at Token. Please come and join me on the stage. Don't forget to take a microphone. Do we have everyone? Hi. Hi. All right, guys. Blockchain is revolutionizing the way payments are made. We're going to talk about that together. But first, please, I'm going to ask you, each of you, to present yourself. Let's start with you.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Balazs. I'm the CEO of Herdius, which is a Berlin-based interoperability protocol. But going beyond that, what we essentially do is we interconnect all the decentralized and centralized exchanges. So we do cross-chain, cross-decentralized and centralized exchange settlement as far as cryptocurrency trading goes. And then on top of this, we're working on a wallet which pays you interest on all your cryptos that you store within our system. And this does not require you to move that out from your hardware wallets and so on. And that's what I do.
So I am Guillaume Burkel. I am in charge of development of Archos. Archos has been a company developing some electronic and B2C products for more than 20 years, starting with MP3, then MP4s, then tablets. We've been among the first to develop tablets on Android, started in 2007. And we are still, of course, in the mobile industry with tablets and smartphones. And we have recently launched our first hardware wallet, which is Safety Touch, which is a USB wallet. And we are developing now a new hardware wallet, which is based on Android, which will provide, we believe, the same usability of an application wallet, but with the security of a hardware wallet.
Paul?
Hello, I'm Paul Bougnoux. I'm originally a co-founder of Largillière Finance. We are an M&A boutique based in Paris and Brussels. We are doing M&A and fundraising, and we discovered blockchain 4 years ago, thanks to our clients in the fintech business. And we have set up a branch in Geneva, doing and assisting our clients to tokenize their business and doing ICO and STOs. We are only working for existing companies, and we believe strongly in tokenization of the business. We have a team dedicated to assist companies to do their tokenization and to raise funds through tokenization. And at the same time, I founded Olymp Capital, which is an asset management company based in Luxembourg. And we have created a first investment vehicle, and we invest in private equity as a VC investor. We invest in tokens as well, and we invest in as a fund of funds in cryptocurrencies.
Marten?
Yeah, my name is Marten Nelson. I'm co-founder and CMO of Token, a San Francisco-based company with offices also in London. We come from sort of the open banking space. We built a platform for PSD2 to essentially combine financial services organizations, banks, anyone who's hosting an account, essentially, and developers, those that want to access. Lately, we introduced a stablecoin on Stellar and Ethereum that's backed by USDs, and we're planning to launch additional coins for Euro, GBPs, Yens, and so on and so forth.
What are the benefits that the blockchain is bringing to the table when it comes to the payment process? Paul?
It's a huge question
because let's start like that.
It's the main subject of tokenization and blockchain. First of all, we discovered that blockchain changed the revenue model of our clients. And in companies in the banking business and in the fintechs, and quicker, easier, more secure we know all the qualities of the blockchain. And it has changed deeply the business in the fintech business. And originally, it was a change in the revenue model. But now it is a change in terms of use and offers to clients. And in the banking business, we will have more and more disruptive new things offered to clients directly.
What is what is the biggest innovation you guys have seen so far, Martin? I'm going to start with you.
In terms of what?
In the field.
In the field?
In terms of, in payment process.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I'm going to be self-serving here, of course.
Of course.
But
Go ahead.
But I think, you know, the stable coins, and we're certainly not the only one that issues stable coins, but I think that's a development in blockchain and distributed ledger that has, that's sort of taking this industry to a level of seriousness that I think has been lacking. I think payments finally become feasible over blockchain when you have coins that are backed by real assets. And so I think the usage of blockchain together with stable coins now has a chance of moving into traditional financial services organizations. And that's what we see with banks, at least.
What do you think, Balazs?
No, I agree with Martin. That stablecoins are definitely a big innovation, and I think they're great. I just feel like we are once again in this bubble that Bitcoin was really early on, that everyone thought this is the future of money and everyone will buy everything with Bitcoins. But nowadays, no one wants to spend their Bitcoin on Amazon or all different e-commerce shops. So I think really the stablecoin innovation will make sense if there's an incentive for the newcomers to the space to actually move their funds into a stablecoin. What
kind of incentives?
I think there has to be a value that is instantly noticeable by the user. So if you're someone on the street and someone tells you about this, and you look at the advantages and you see it clearly, okay, if I move my funds from my bank account to the stablecoin, whatever mechanism that involves, then I will be better off. So I think making that very, very clear is probably one of the most important for adoption.
Why? What do you think hardware wallets are a must today? I'm going to ask that to you.
Yeah, well, currently we do believe that it's really necessary to have a hardware wallet in order to store securely your assets in the crypto economic world. I mean, we've been working in the mobile industry for quite a long time, and we are quite aware of how insecure it is. I mean,
it's the trust protocol, right? But
yeah,
so what do you need a wallet for then?
No, I mean, every big company is open to hacks. I believe that cryptocurrencies are, of course, open to hacks because they are like a playground for people knowledgeable in these technologies, and there is a lot of people who are being knowledgeable in this technology of hacking. So, for the time being, I do believe it is really a needed asset. Now, to go back on the situation of how the crypto assets can be used as payment means. There is also a broader aspect to that, which is that it is supposed to be totally international, and it makes a big difference. I mean, looking at the world in some countries, having a currency which can be usable, transferable, is a real must for the development of a lot of people in the world. We're just not thinking about us, who can use different kind of currencies quite easily, but some can't. So they really need to have access to this facility of being able to transfer money easily without breaking rules or whatever. But it can be done today.
It can be done today, but when do you think we're going to get there?
I think it's going to be done pretty soon once everyone understands that we cannot sustain the system as it is because things are happening, and it's good for everyone. So I do believe stability is going to come also. We also even see that on the Bitcoin. I mean, the Bitcoin is more or less stable now. it's going to change, of course, again, but the currency, the cryptocurrencies are shifting in a less volatile way. So
that's a good way.
People are believing it's going to be easier to do things such as even buying goods with Bitcoin or stable coins. But
what are the challenges that we have? Why aren't we there yet?
We are not there yet because there has been bubbles, there has been up and downs, there has been a lot of scams also, which does not help, of course, the ecosystem. But I do believe that everyone here is interested in promoting the core values of cryptocurrencies.
Paul, what do you think?
I think that we have it's complex because we all know that blockchain will change everything, but we don't have any proof today in terms of business and application in our daily life. You were talking about cash remittance and money transfer. 1.7 billion people in the world don't have a bank account. And blockchain will change that because it will be the best way to allow people having 60% of these people who don't have a bank account, they have a tablet or they have a phone. And they will be able, thanks to blockchain, to open a bank account and to do payments and to do cash remittance. That's a huge change.
Totally. Martin, how do you feel like, how can the financial institution embrace all of this? They've changed a lot, talking about the old banking system. They've changed a lot since the financial crisis in 2008. There's more to be done. I think you have what do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, being a bank these days is not easy.
Yeah.
And I admire many of the startup banks, challenger banks. I think they're brave, and many of them do awfully well as well, which is fantastic. In terms of payments, I think that the banks and the banking system, the two-tier model we have, central banks issuing money essentially, the commercial banks distributing it to their customers, I don't believe that's going to change anytime soon. If you think about it, if we would have Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of the other hundreds of coins replace our euros and dollars, it would wreak havoc. And central banks' main job is to ensure financial stability and social stability, essentially. And so I think that two-tier model will not change. However, what will change is the technologies they're using to issue money. It will change how they can track. AML is a huge issue for banks and regulators. I believe that the blockchain technologies that are, have been developed and are being in development will help a lot with AML and KYC. It will bring down the cost. It will bring transparency, as we've heard previously. So, the topic of this was no more middleman. Now, there will be a middleman, no doubt. But their role might change slightly, and the tools they have at their disbursement, will change. So they will be able to be more efficient. I also think that, you asked previously, when is it going to happen, right? And I think, if you're familiar with the Gartner hype cycle, this is no difference. I was in the dot-com era, I was in San Francisco in the Silicon Valley in the 90s, and yes, I was younger, and I thought this was going to change the world, and but the reality is, this works the same way, right? It goes up. We go through all these fantastic ideas, but at the end of the day, right? It comes down. We bring reality to it, and then over time, you're going to see companies that come out with products and services that really help. Amazon was a great example that was brought up earlier, right? Pets.com fell apart soon, and many others. But the dot-com era changed the world as we know it today. And I truly believe that what we see today will change the world as well, but it might take another 5 years or so until we see the effects of it.
Balazs, what's your stance on no more middlemen?
No, there were some good points brought up. I think the issue that will come in place is, especially with the hardware wallets, is what's the threshold when someone decides to purchase one? Because obviously you don't want to keep your private key just on your laptop. Let's say that's 5,000 euros, but then you have the problem, and this I think really has to be solved, of like in old times going to the bank and getting your money to pay with your hardware wallet, and that will be very, very problematic. At the same time, yeah, I agree. This is the future, but the adoption is going to be really, really slow, because right now we are at this stage where banks are starting to digitalize, and only at this stage. But to bring the other crowd, so everyone in here is probably the crypto crowd. But the bigger crowd that's out there, to bring them on board with such a steep learning curve and such hard processes on board, I think that will be difficult. At the same time, I'm super excited about the borderless money, as previously mentioned, but also if we can eliminate all the centralization that goes on in the exchange space that we have, and more centralized networks, that would be a really good step.
Guillaume?
I do agree with that. Now the areas of what we are talking about is large. I mean, there is a different aspect in that. I mean, there is value in the fact that yes, cryptocurrencies are a great tool for financing and developing new products and new services. That's the first point. The second point is yes, of course, the crypto assets are also a payment mean. That's another aspect of the development of the ecosystem. And as regards the middleman, I do understand that yes, there will still be middlemen, but it will be middlemen which are going to be quite different than what we are experiencing today. It will take years. I agree with everyone here, but I do believe that there is something big going on in this direction. Now, regarding the exchange topics, which is, as of today, yes, exchanges are mainly centralized, and that's an issue because that's at one point kind of a big middleman in the game. Yeah. And decentralized exchange may be a great solution, at least a technical solution, once some hurdles have been crossed, and it will be done quite soon. But
it is happening, yeah.
It is happening. And so it will be a world where there will be a lot of middlemen, meaning that the power of the middleman is going to be reduced because leverage.
Paul?
It's a question of definition of the middleman. Who are we talking about? If we are talking about no regulation, we need regulation. It's our point of view. We need AML, we need KYC, we need regulators to give their opinion on the ability to the issuer of tokens to raise money. We need good regulation. And now many states and many governments are competing around the world. We have set up our branch in Geneva, and the canton of Geneva is competing with the canton of Zug, which is very interesting, inside the same country. But both are working with FINMA, and both are working with a tax regulator, and both are building a regulation. And we need that. We know that, as it has been said in the first panel this morning, 95% of the token issued right now are shit. It will go to zero. Sorry for the investors. But it will be bad. Then, yes, we need a middleman. We need regulators. We need rules. And France is doing well.
I was about to say, yeah, who's going to lead? Yeah, France is can have a big role in here, in that field.
Yes, but there is an agenda, and companies don't have a French agenda. They have an agenda to issue money.
We're looking at what, the US?
It's another discussion. But France is doing well, but they are not alone. In Malta, it's moving very quickly. In Geneva, it's moving. In Singapore, in many countries. But then, definition of middleman. Yes, we need regulation. Definition of banks in the future of money. For example, Airbnb, the biggest supplier of rooms, hotel rooms in the world, they don't have one hotel. Facebook is the biggest publisher. They don't issue content. Alibaba, they don't have inventory and things like that. Tomorrow, we can think that actors in the fintech, they will not need to have a bank. For example, we are working for a very amazing ICO, Tempo. They are doing very well on cash remittance, for example, in Africa, and we don't have a bank, and they are doing well, and we don't need Western Union, and we don't need other actors. Then I think that in terms of middlemen, and I go back to the definition, you will have new actors, new regulations, but it's totally disrupting.
Guys, I want you to take us in 10 years, because we've understood it's going to happen, it's happening, there's a few challenges along the way. What is it going to look like in 10 years, the future of money? Marten.
Well, there will be butterflies everywhere.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, what will it look like? I mean, I think it will change for sure. I think what we will see is this notion of sort of instant, invisible, and free, right? It will be, payments in general will become invisible, just like you have on Uber today. You're not really aware of that you're paying. You just end leaving that cab or that car and it's paid for, right? So that's the invisible part of it. Instant, so there are a number of payment rails today in the world that are semi-instant. The use of stable coins provide an opportunity to really make it instant. We're talking about sub-second settlement of funds. And last, free. You know, if you today transact on Ethereum, it's certainly not free. However, Stellar Network, for example, it's very close to free to make a transaction. It's super cheap, and I think we'll continue to see, you know, erosion of prices in payments. Now, so the value has to be somewhere else, right? You have to layer value-added services on top of payments. So I think those three characteristics, invisible, instant, and free, is the future of money, and that's probably less than 10 years from now.
Oh, I like that. Paul, you want to add something?
Yes, I do agree, and I expect butterflies too.
Okay. How about you, Guillaume?
No, I fully agree with that. 10 years is a good target.
All right. All right. So, you know, guys, we still have a little bit of time for Q&A. If you have some questions about the subject, please, we have some microphone in the room. Anybody have a question? It's the time to ask. Any question in the room? Nobody? I can't see anything. No? Are you sure? All right. We're going to have a break. So maybe a last word, since you don't want to ask question. A last word, Balazs?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, it's a good, hard one on you.
Just going back to the question, I think an interesting thing to think about is you can do an exchange or a new token that's completely anonymous, cannot be traced, even if it's a decentralized exchange that people can trade freely. The question is, will you do it? Do you dare to do it? Because we saw an example just last month from one in Asia that they did it, but then the government always, involves themselves. So I think it's really important to be mindful, especially for everyone. Although we're working on open source and decentralized things, we still have to be responsible as far as regulation and laws go. So I think that's the main limitation of how much people will dare to innovate.
Anything you want to add, guys? Last words? You good? All right. So if you have any question anyway, if you want to ask questions, it's time for the networking break. You can go and ask them questions. Maybe you didn't want to do it in front of everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We had Paul, Bougnoux, everybody with us for this roundtable.